Hey everybody, welcome to etrailer.com. I'm Bobby, and today we're taking a look at the Kuat NV 2.0 here on our 2020 Volvo XC90. Now, the platform style racks are going to be a great way of giving you a lot of stability and making sure our bike looks pretty on the back of our car. And I think no another does it better than the Kuat NV. As you guys can see, very, very stylish rack. However, getting a very nice wheelbase so that we can get some of our bigger, longer bikes up on here with no problem. And as well as with a 60-pound capacity, we're going to be pretty hard pressed to find a bike we can't get up on here. And as well as having a wheel format to actually, or a tire hold format to actually hold onto our bikes on our platform rack, we're going to have no trouble getting a host of different bikes up on here. As you can see today, we have our carbon frame bike, and since we have no frame contact, not going to have any issue with these guys warping or deteriorating, and also kind of combats any issues you might have with some of those horizontal frame kind of platforms or even hanging style. All we have to worry about is we have a good wheel to actually hold onto our bikes. The platform itself, as we mentioned, very, very wide, and with that you get a lot of versatility. You're getting these nice kind of front set kind of wheel holders for that front wheel, as you guys can see. Going to be doing a good job. You're getting that nice inner groove for those 18C tires, widening out for your standard and mountain bikes, as you can see. Now, it's not going to get anything too crazy, not going to be great for those fat tire bikes. As you can see, our strips aren't really going to go that wide. Then we can always replace those and make them wider. However, primarily, as you guys can see, going to be great for our smaller bike wheel lengths, or widths, I should say. But as you guys can see too, this cradle does go ahead and shift across the entirety of this platform, and that's where really that versatility really starts shining through. On the very end, you'll notice that we have an integrated cable lock here. What's great about this guy is on each of our platforms, so we get one dedicated cable for each of our bikes, and those also will be key to like, not only to themselves, but also to the hitch lock that we will go over later in the video. Well, this isn't going to take too much time to take off, but before we do have a lot of cargo in the back of our Volvo that we definitely want to access. Pretty good space there, even with those seats up. So if we do want to access it, all we have to do is come right here to this middle lever. You're going to see it sticking out right here. Now imagine you had a second bike here. Definitely be kind of squeezing your arm underneath to pull that guy like so. We can drop our mast like so. One to keep in mind too, though, if this was a 60-pound bike, you had another 60-pound bike up on there, definitely a lot of weight to consider. So just be careful as we are dropping that mast. But as you can see now, I can swing open our hatch. I can get my bikes, or my bike helmets, my coolers, anything else I might need. Can be a great little way too to kind of change while we're sitting on here. Nice little relaxing spot. Nice that we have full access to the back of this cargo without actually having to take our bikes off. Very quick and easy access there. And bringing it up is even simpler than actually have to taking it down. All I want to do, grab it on my mast, walk it up. Going to hear that click, that lever goes back in spot, and we have no trouble at all with that hanging in there. No pins and clips. All I have to do is walk it right up. Well, to take our bike off, it's going to take no time. I just want to come right to our strip, press in on that lever, and start pulling it out. It does have a nice little matting on the inside. That way we can prevent any kind of damage to those wheel rims as they are sitting in there. But that does bring us to our last point of contact. And before I get any crazy with it, I like to go ahead and bring that arm out to the side. Can be a little easier just to get that half step in. Definitely going to be necessary if you get those heavy 60-pound bikes up on here. And then I can come right up to my ratcheting arm system. To let that loose, I guess have to press in that lever, allowing that arm to go straight up, exposing that nice little copper on the underneath. Go ahead and swing that guy to the side. And now I can just gently walk my bike off, and I'm ready to ride. Now, mounting is just as easy as taking off. The only thing you might kind of run into, these strips like to kind of just hang out. I like to just kind of bring my wheel underneath and loop it up as I go. However, definitely not going to be the biggest headache in the world, especially for us that are seasoned riders. Can bring our arms in relatively quickly, though. You can see how nice and condensed this guy can get. Now, with any hitch-mounted accessory, though, we are adding a little bit of length to our vehicle. Now, our XC90 isn't going to be anything too crazy, but definitely a little length to consider. Let's go ahead and take a quick little look from the rear of our bumper here. From the rear of the bumper right to the end of our repair stand puts us right over 33 inches or so there from that farthest point. It's about 33 1/4 inches to be safe. Definitely going to be a little length to consider. Definitely not the craziest that I've seen, especially for only a 2-bike platform. We do have a quick way of actually shortening that down, but before we get too crazy, let's go ahead and take a look at our clearance level here. So our repair stand is actually going to be our furthest point of contact from the rear. So going down to the ground here, I can take a look and I see that I am about 19 1/4 inches there from the ground to the end of our carrier. Definitely not going to be anything too crazy. You get a pretty nice rise. Keep in mind, with 33 inches or so exposed from our hitch, Definitely going to be something you want to consider, though. So if you are doing any kind of off-roading, keep in mind, so those front wheels go up, the back will go down, and so will our hitch-mounted accessories. But that brings us back to our length. We definitely want to be able to shorten that down. And that brings us right back to that handy-dandy lever we used earlier to tilt away. But instead of tilting away, I'm going to go ahead, pull this guy like so, and simply walk it up into position. It's going to go ahead and clack like so, and it does a very good job of actually holding in here. You can see very little to no play at all. One thing I do like to note as well is these arms are very, very good at having a pretty good resistance. So even as this goes down the road, they won't be spinning in and doing any kind of damage to our XC90 as we go. Taking a quick look here from the rear of our vehicle. I want to see how much length we are actually working with now. And so I can get that to sit. Puts us right under 15 inches there. So about 14 3/4 from the rear of our vehicle. Definitely a lot of length shaved down. Going to have no trouble at all getting this in the garage, or at least getting some of those tight parking places wherever we might be. Just to give us an idea too, I want to take a quick little look here, see how close we are to our Volvo. And puts us about 4 1/4 inches there to that inside of that arm. Again, with that resistance, shouldn't be too big of a deal for us. On the inside here with our shank, you can see we do have a 2-inch shank today, and that's going to be great for our 2 inches, of course, getting a lot of that strength and durability from it. We also have gone ahead and thrown on an etrailer hitch pin alignment collar today. Now, we definitely recommend these guys. If you find yourself pulling these guys on and off a lot, they can be a great little way. That way, they actually align our pins. Once I finally have this set, all I have to do, slap this collar on, and every time I back it on and off, it'll be perfectly aligned, spending way less time on my hands and my knees, actually getting this pin to fit. Talking about that pin, though, you'll see on the other end that we do have a little locking core there, just to make sure that our rack actually stays attached to our vehicle when we leave it unattended. And keep in mind that those keys will be keyed alike to those integrated cores and cables that we have on our platform. Well, that brings us to our anti-rattle device, and luckily for us, it's right here on the outside. Now, a lot of times you get those standard threaded anti-rattle hitch bolts, and they do an excellent job, yes, of bringing this in line with our hitch. However, we have to get underneath our carrier and our vehicle. Can definitely be a pain, and you're kind of ending up on your back having to use a ratchet. This way, I can just simply walk right up, get this in position, especially with that alignment collar, and then I can just go ahead and start tightening this down. It'll tighten that cam inside of our shank to our hitch. And what it does, if I give this guy a shake, as you can see, brings this all in line with our vehicle. That way, we're bringing all that innate play out. We're not going to be feeling it as much as we drive down the road. Our bike rack's not going to be feeling it, and especially our bike. So it makes for a nice, smooth ride for all involved. One little thing I like to point out too is on the inside of that, you do have a little Allen wrench attachment. That can be great if you are going on any kind of long road trips. Makes it nice so we can tighten that down. We aren't checking it every 50 miles or so. We know it will be nice and secured for ourselves. On the very end too here, you will see we have a nice little repair stand. This guy is great, as you can pop this out, slide him up. If I can go ahead and loosen him like so, bring him up into position. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot there was a latch, guys. Look at that. Don't forget that latch. As you can see, pop it right up, bring that in place. Can be great to put those bikes up and do a lot of whatever necessary repairs we need. That way we're not stranded at the trails and we have a way of dealing with our situation. So really like seeing that and how easy it is to use. Again, that latch just goes down. We single like so and tighten that up so we don't actually start spinning. So nice little addition there. Now if that's something you don't need, you can also look at the Kuat NV base. Same little system, not having to get that repair stand. Can knock the price down just a little bit to help us get going on those trails. So as you guys can see, the Kuat NV does an excellent job of transporting your bikes. I am a very big fan of that style, of course. It comes in a couple of different colors. Of course, you can see as you have the gray on today, there also is a black option as well if you are wanting to match that Volvo look. As you guys can see, the black might go a little bit better with the car we have here today. But I think that about does it for our look at the Kuat NV 2.0 here on our 2020 Volvo XC90. I'm Bobby. Thank you for watching.